the food and the buffet were wonderful. Thank you. We've come to a somewhat sad occasion in many ways, or bittersweet, because it's lovely to see Jimmy and his wife and lovely family coming to the end of their hard work, dedication to all and sundry in our region, in our district and parish. He has done a magnificent job in the 14 years that he's been here, and we're very grateful to you, Jimmy, and Liz, for supporting him. In fact, we've held you in such high regard, Jimmy, that we decided to name a supermarket after you. And it wasn't Tesco's, I can assure you. I think I've bored you enough. Thank you again, Jimmy and Liz, for your wonderful activities and attention and your love. It has been unsurpassed in my experience, and we are very grateful, and we will miss you terribly. When you go out into the wilderness, we will miss your presence. But fortunately, Wellington is not too much of a wilderness, so you'll be able to pop back, and we'll be able to pop over to see you, hopefully. Now, I'm going to hand over now to Penny Littlewood, the Reverend Penny Littlewood, the increasingly Reverend Penny Littlewood, who will also say some words of acclaim in favour of Jimmy. Penny.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm sure I can guarantee that there is no one here who has not been touched over and over again by the mighty words of your brilliant sermons. Some of them have been given at times of national, nay, international tragedies. Times when the need has been intense for your guidance and for an awareness of God's presence and his purpose in the turmoil of what has been going on. So, again, thank you so much for that. And so to us, that is why we are really here, because we know you have always been there for us. You have built relationships with us in so many ways, with families at baptisms, with couples as they embark on holy matrimony, and especially with those who have suffered bereavement. This is not a time to dwell on this aspect, but we all know there are many here who have cause to be grateful for your compassion and for your love. For those of you who have not found it yet, upstairs in the balcony, just near where you came in, we have a PowerPoint display running continually of many, many pictures of Jimmy and his family over the last 14 and a half years in all manner of circumstances and events. And I think the one with the balloon parrot on Jimmy's shoulder is my favourite. Do go and have a look if you can. And you too, Jimmy. It'll bring back some memories of the last 14 and a half years. And so we are coming towards the end of what I want to say. The point about it all is this, that Jimmy has always been about people, not just a provider of wonderful services, but supporting people in all things, encouraging them to fulfill their potential. And let's face it, there are two priests here today who have cause to be very grateful for that. And as Paul said in his letter to the Romans, chapter 12, rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Jimmy, you did just that for all of us. So now in conclusion, we offer our appreciation by this day, by this vast number of people here present, our most humble and very, very grateful thanks. And we have some small tokens of our appreciation. So Jimmy, our priest, our teacher, our friend, God bless you always. On behalf of all 4 of our parishes, the parishes you have served for 14 and a half years, we have yes.
Wonderful churches!
Jimmy, if you look at it closely, you will also see that there's a commemorative plaque down at the bottom in silver, which has a very unique Jubilee hallmark. Am I right?
You are presented to the Reverend JimmyMorrison, MA, on the occasion of his retirement on the 30th of October 2011. And lots of little pictures. That means it's worth something.
Now, one other task, and that is to ask you to cut your cake, which has been supplied via the offices of the regiment. Way! And I know from a distance it's not clear what that is. Perhaps you would tell the good folk that it isn't what they might suspect it is.
They are chocolate replicas of the badge of the Royal Army Chaplains Department, which carries on it the motto, "In this sign, conquer." And the sign, of course, is the cross. I'm going to cut this. You hold on, and then I'll say more. I'll say lots more.
So, Jimmy, over to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody, thank you. A long time ago, I went on what was called an ACOM. ACOM was the Advisory Council for the Church's Ministry. And they had the job of vetting you and either recommending you or not recommending you to a bishop who would then be stupid enough to ordain you. And I went on my ACOM, and there was a chap there who was principal of a theological college. He went on to become Bishop of St Albans, but he wasn't at the time. And he said, if you're ever going to be a parish priest, and you come to the point when you retire, the only accolade that is worth having is that when people talk about you after you've gone, they say, he loved us. Nothing else matters. Not your sermons, not your visiting, just he loved us. And blow me, I have. Do you know, I love you. And I nearly blubbed as I walked out of that church in Burg Hill today. I really nearly did, because... and not any proprietorial sense of leaving that church. I have no proprietorial bones in my body. This is absolutely true. I've never really wanted to own anything. You know, for years I've lived in a house I didn't own, and it's been great because I didn't have to pay if the roof fell in. I've never wanted to own a motor car because the blasted things get less valuable every year. I don't want to own things. So it wasn't that. It was the fact that with the best will in the world, I ain't going to see as much of you as I have. And that makes me really sad. Because you've been just absolutely lovely. You are wonderful. I mean, I'm not saying you haven't got your faults. There was a chap I knew, Paddy Shannon. He was a rector of a parish in Elgin, up on the Moray coast, and he became provost of the cathedral in Aberdeen. And when he was leaving his parish in New Elgin, he got up in the pulpit and preached his final sermon, and he pointed at each member of the congregation and said, "You're an adulterer, and you are this, and you are that." And then he went out the back door and he drove away and he never came back. But I'm not going to do that. None of us is perfect. But blimmin' heck, you are pretty good. And I do love you. And I thank you. And...
Nothing else to say. God bless you. Bye.